and welcome to my 2-month summary. Just over 2 months now, day 67, 3,640 miles, just out enjoying some of the roads around Goodwood. So the car was back in the dealership a couple of days ago. The trim piece that I was talking about down there, they've had another good look at it. I've taken it back to the dealer that's near to where I work, and they've decided that it's not actually the trim piece around the outside that's at fault, it's actually the part that it clips into. So it's a bit more involved. That part needs to be replaced. I'm taking it back in a few weeks for them to sort that, but I've also got another problem, minor problem though, and that is that, oh, okay, I have a squeaking clutch pedal. Now, don't know if you can hear that. I thought it would probably just need a squirt of lube somewhere, but I wasn't about to start squirting the wrong type of lube in the wrong place. So I took it back to the dealership. They had a look at it, they had a go. They couldn't get rid of the squeak, so it's actually going to have a new spring assembly fitted. So taking it back in a few weeks to have the trim piece and the clutch spring assembly replaced. As for the car itself, apart from that, I've got no complaints at all. It's fantastic in every single way. I don't have any issues with my coolant. 3,600 miles now. Some of that's been fairly hard driven, some of it's just been on the basic commute, but my coolant seems to be holding up, so no coolant loss. I'm getting no steam or smoke or anything on startup, no funny smells, so everything seems to be absolutely A1. So what have I discovered in just over 2 months and 3,600 miles then? Well, one of the criticisms of the Focus RS is that the interior isn't a particularly special place to be. It is just a basic Focus. Apart from the drive, you're left in no doubt that you are in an RS though, because Ford are very fond of the RS logo. I know it has a lot of history attached to it. There's been a lot of very special RS cars over the years, but I think they went a bit over the top with the RS logo. There are no fewer than 18 of them dotted all over the car. Wheels, spoiler, boot floor, engine, door sills, seats, steering wheel, and the 2 displays. They're very fond of the RS logo, so yeah, it might not be a very special place to be. It's nice enough for me. All the bits that I touch, the steering wheel, the gear lever, the pedals, all of the control weights, the seats are fantastic. It's good enough, plenty good enough for what it is. As for the RS logos everywhere, a lot of people are very keen on putting coloured stickers in them. Mine are going to stay exactly as they are. This car is going to remain 100% standard. There's nothing I can see that means I want to change it, and I'm certainly not a fan of covering a car in coloured stickers. The gear shift, that's much smoother now. Now, on day one, I couldn't get over how much resistance there was to it going in gear, but I put that down to the fact that I had spent a couple of months and over 1,000 miles driving a Hyundai i10, and the gear shift in that was ridiculously light. I think on day one when I drove this, and I was kind of saying that the gear shift was really stiff, that was just me having to adapt and get used to it. I'm sure it has broken in a bit as well, but now it's a lovely thing. No problem with it whatsoever, so the gear shift is absolutely fine. What about fuel consumption then? Well, it is a heavy car, it's a powerful car, and if you use it, you're not going to do too well at all. I'm averaging something like 24 over the miles that I've done so far, this current tank, 24.6, and that's with a bit of hooning and a bit of cruising. but it is wholly dependent upon your right foot. You can easily get early 30s, mid 30s. I've managed to do that for a couple of days on my drive to work and back, but it was only a couple of days, and then the urge to plant the throttle and get the pops and bangs on the downshifts and accelerating just became too great. It really brings out the inner child in me, this car. How can you ever get tired of that? So mostly mid-20s, late 20s. I did actually do an entire tank full at less than 20, but that was driving pretty much everywhere absolutely flat out. But mid-20s, late 20s, I can live with that. There's some criticism of the ride quality. Some people say it's too firm for a daily driver. I disagree. I think if you want a car that handles like this, that goes around corners like this, that powers out of corners like this, you have to expect a bit of a compromise. And yes, it's firm, but it's not as firm as my Fiesta ST was, not in normal mode anyway. Stick it in sport mode, I'll do that now, and it does get quite a bit more jittery, but it's not as bad as I was led to believe from all of the videos and reviews and so on. People said it was absolutely intolerable. Now, yeah, sure, going on a bumpy road like this, as I just go past the main entrance to Goodwood House there, it's not ideal. You wouldn't want it in this setting if you were trying to make progress, but unless you're on a really rough, broken road, I find it quite acceptable. It's quite funny at times, actually, at just how much it bounces you around. But the ride, nothing wrong with the ride at all. Quite happy with that. Certainly no need to change anything, springs or dampers wise. So what about Sync 3 then? Well, I've got a C-Max as well, which my wife runs day to day and for family duties, and that's got Sync 2 in it, so I can really compare the two side by side. I may well make a video in the future of how they differ, but Sync 3 is leagues apart from Sync 2 in terms of how usable it is. The only thing you miss is a navigation compass, no problem with that. Got sat-nav to tell me where I am and which way I'm heading, so the compass, not really fussed about that. The other thing that you miss is the ability to set the climate control temperature. You can't give a voice instruction to set that, not on the UK version anyway. I think on the US version of Sync 3 you can, but it's no problem just reaching down there and twirling that dial, is it really? One thing I do love about Sync 3, which you won't ever get on Sync 2, is Android Auto. It's great that if I search on anything on my PC at work or at home when I'm logged into Google, or set any reminders, they all come up on the screen. I can reply to WhatsApp messages by voice as well as text, I found out recently. And it's also really good having Google on demand. What is engine torque?
According to Car and Driver blog, H equals TX RPM 5252, where H is horsepower, T is pound-feet, RPM is how fast the engine is spinning, and 5252 is a constant that makes the units jibe.
There you go. 5252 is a constant that makes the units jibe. I don't really know what all of that means, but what I do know is this car has a load of torque. One thing this car also has, and certainly compared to my Fiesta ST that I came from, is much more engine braking. Just letting off the throttle, the car slows down a lot more if you're off the gas. I like that because I like to be able to kind of regulate my speed just using the throttle. On a particular hill that I used to drive to work, going down it in 6th gear on my ST, the car would run away and I'd have to use the brakes to stop getting up to too high a speed. But in this, in 6th gear, if I roll down it, it just holds a constant. So the engine braking is much more, I don't think it's rolling resistance. There may be some all-wheel drive issues there, causing the more severe engine braking, but I doubt that as well, because the twinster system at the back only engages when you need it, when you're applying power. So I wouldn't imagine there's a great deal that's lost from that. But the engine braking is, yeah, that took a while to get used to. And what about the veering steering that people often complain about? In 3,500 miles, I haven't experienced anything like that. I've had a minor tug at the wheel occasionally, but nothing that would ever cause me to change lanes, which a lot of people have claimed. And now I've yet to see any video footage of it happening, and I've tried to make it happen, believe me, giving it full throttle on bumpy roads and things like that, but I really haven't experienced it. My thoughts? Well, I drive like this all of the time, as you've probably noticed, and that's two hands on the wheel, unless I'm changing down the gear. So maybe with the really quick steering rack, it will kind of twitch off and go from one side of the road to the other. Didn't do anything then. That was you know, a good pull, but it didn't go anywhere, and this is a bumpy road. My thoughts are probably just people getting used to the quicker steering rack. I don't know if anyone is still complaining about it long after they've taken delivery of their car, once you've got used to the fact that it's a really quick rack and only 2 turns lock to lock. But I think that is potentially a factor in it, and it's certainly nothing that I've experienced. So veering steering, what veering steering is what I would say. So onto my data then, and my analysis and my tracking. I've got an app on my phone, so I'll record every fill up. I'm recording over time, the cost of vehicle excise duty, or road tax if that's what you want to call it, and anything else that I spend on this. Now, so far, insurance, VED and fuel is all that this has cost me. Now, in theory, yes, I've had some depreciation, but I'm not including that in these numbers because it's too early for any figure to be meaningful. We'll see when I get to 6 months and get a read on what these cars are fetching used. I'll introduce some depreciation into the mix. Service cost wise, I'll be buying the service pack, so that should be fixed for the first 3 services. So we'll see what this car costs. I'm expecting it to cost me, from hopefully lower depreciation, less than my Fiesta did. Data logging, I'm going to do something on data logging soon as well. I've been a big fan of data logging since I had my Fiesta ST. I learned a huge amount out about that car from logging it, finding out what the engine does, how it holds the torque back. This thing certainly holds the torque back in first and second gear. Launch control apparently lifts those limits, and what I'm curious about is flat shifting, not taking your foot off the throttle. Now, it says in the brochures and things like that that it optimizes the car when you engage launch control, and it lifts torque limits. Now, I've heard that you're meant to flat shift into second gear, and my theory is, and I will log this and find out one day, my theory is that, okay, well done you, my theory is that if you flat shift into second, you get full torque in second gear, but if you take your foot off the throttle as you shift from first into second when using launch control, I think it will cancel that lift of the torque limits. So I'm going to log that. I'll run a few of those and I will share all that with you once I've done that. Madness. So that about sums it up for this video. 2 months in, 3,655 miles now. Loving it, absolutely loving it. Couldn't think of a better car. Daily drive to work, early in the morning, empty roads, fantastic. And then getting out on an afternoon like this, on these country roads, there is nothing else out there that would be more suitable and that I would enjoy more. Hope you found this video useful, interesting, or otherwise. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below the video. Do give it a thumbs up so others can see it's something worth watching. Share it, hit the subscribe button and turn notifications on. I will see you in my next video. As always, thanks for watching.